had a busy spring. And the good news is I'm buying a house. I close on it a week from tomorrow, so next Sunday is my last Sunday in the pulpit, and we are going to have a little gathering afterwards to say goodbye to each other. And then after that, I'm going to hop in the car and drive to Pittsburgh so that I'm there on Monday to close on my new house. And by the way, a picture of it is on the cover of your order of service, in case you missed that. So the bad news is that it took 4 offers to finally get one accepted. I looked at a bunch of houses during my candidating week and honed in on a particular neighborhood that's halfway between the city, where everything happens, and my congregation, which is way out in the northern suburbs, where like nothing happens. Residential homes and strip malls, you know. So I want to be halfway in between, and there's this little community called Bellevue where it's actually a walkable community. There's a little downtown area with it's got a couple of restaurants, a coffee shop, drugstores, a grocery store, even a YMCA where I could go work out in the winter. Reminds me a little of Croton. You can walk to all these things. A little bit bigger downtown even than Croton. So I found the house I wanted during the week I was there, which was way back end of April into the beginning of May. And I made an offer that was well above the asking price. I didn't get it. Luckily, I had a great realtor who helped me see other houses by video after I got back. I made 2 more offers, each above the asking price and one of them way over, but to no avail. I was beginning to despair of finding an appropriate house in that neighborhood in the time frame that was available to me, when finally one more came on the market. And you know what they say, 4th time's a charm. Oh wait, 3rd, right? Yeah. So it's a smaller house than many I looked at, but it's also lower priced, which is good. And it was just in time, as I haven't seen anything else appropriate in that neighborhood come on the market since then. They accepted my offer, and it's well underway at this point, a week away from closing. I won't have to do much of anything to the interior. It's got a brand new kitchen, bathrooms, floors are in wonderful shape, beautiful wood floors throughout. And then there's a little bit of things I can do in the yard. Actually, I have big plans for the yard. That's very exciting. Extending the deck and maybe a garage even. So fun things to do. Yet, as I explored these homes and decided to make offers and got excited about the possibilities for each one, and then pulled out all the stops to ensure that my offer was the best in a wildly competitive market, it was a big disappointment when my offers were declined. And each time when I would relate my experience to others, I was offered the same cliches. It wasn't the right one for you. Or it means there's a better one coming. Things like that, I'm sure you've heard them as you acknowledged the children's time. Yes. It's the idea that there's a great plan that's supposed to work in your favor, and disappointments or setbacks along the way are relatively unimportant, because ultimately things will work out for the best. And so I shouldn't feel sad for the loss, because in the end I'll see that all was for the best after all. And this is related to the perspective that everything happens for a reason. in this worldview or theological perspective, the great plan works for the greater good of all. And the disappointments and setbacks we experience are learning experiences. They're actually gifts to us because they help us grow. So I feel like this is a relatively new thing, this particular point of view that tries to put sorrow in perspective in this way. And by new, I mean in the last 20 or 30 years. That's, my time frame now. It feels to me like a new age kind of thing. Something that's come along with things like crystals and Reiki. It feels like it's a recent thing, and suddenly I'm hearing it everywhere. Have you shared bad news with friends and encountered this kind of response? I think you acknowledge you have. And maybe you've offered such a response, because it's actually people just like us who I hear it from. My close friends, my acquaintances, people who travel in our circle. So I'm guessing some of you have offered this, maybe as well. But if you've been on the receiving end, how did it make you feel? I have to say, I didn't like the way it made me feel. It felt to me like my sorrow was discounted. It felt like the houses I liked weren't special, after all, and that my desire to own them amounted to zip in this great plan. I know that wasn't the intent of my friends. I get it. I know they were trying to make me feel better by suggesting that the best house for me was yet to come, and turn this negative into a positive, so to lift me up out of my sad feelings. And in fact, I have decided that the one I got is actually the best choice, or at least as good as the others. But it isn't my dream house. That would have been the second one, though that one would have cost quite a bit more. And I had to experience a lot of emotional upheaval to get here, including not only 3 times falling in love or coming close, but also getting extremely worried that I wouldn't find a house in time. There were many reasons that it made more sense to buy than to rent, which I won't go into now. Just take my word for that. So was all this emotional upheaval part of the plan? Is this plan that made my disappointment necessary the plan of a benevolent God? Or maybe a particularly cruel God? Or is it fate? Is there a pre-planned destiny that includes my having to make offers on 3 houses before finally succeeding in buying one? It couldn't have happened any other way? Really? If so, does that destiny cover all of my life? All of yours? Is everything pre-planned? Predestined? Is there then no such thing as free will or chance? These are the kinds of thoughts that have been floating around in my head since this experience. In defense of this belief that everything happens for a reason, it is indeed comforting to think that everything has a purpose. It's a way of making sense of things that are difficult. It's a way of making meaning for our lives. It places the struggles of our lives into a larger picture, whether we can see that picture or not. Oprah Winfrey is a believer. She says, I trust that everything happens for a reason, even if we are not wise enough to see it. Oprah Winfrey. Well, good company. A God's eye view, if we could only see it, would show us why we have to go through the difficulty we're going through. And often, once we get through the difficulty, we can see in hindsight that things really did work out for the best. So, for instance, James Costello in the reading had to get injured in the bombing in order to meet his wife. It was clear to him in retrospect that this was the reason he got injured. This explanation helped him to make sense of a tragedy in his life. If we can have faith that there is such a plan, whether we can see it or not, it means that life makes sense. The universe has a purpose. It's not just random chance. And this is greatly comforting. Our minds naturally seek explanations. It's human nature to try to make sense of things. It can be reassuring to think that there are no accidents, that even great tragedies reflect an unfolding plan. And this perspective is not just held by religious people, but also by people who don't believe in an intelligent deity. That same article the reading is from describes a study where, quote, a majority of religious believers said that they thought that significant events happened for a reason and that they had been purposefully designed, presumably by God. But many atheists said so as well. And a majority of atheists in a related study also said that they believed in fate, defined as the view that life events happen for a reason and that there is an underlying order to life that determines how events turn out. Well, this may all be well and good in the matter of house buying, but tell it to a person who is dying from cancer. Tell them that there's a plan where it makes sense, their cancer, their pending death makes sense. Or tell it to a person who has just lost a child in a tragic accident. Tell it to the farmer who has just lost her whole crop to a hailstorm. The crop that was to pay all her bills for the coming year. Would people tell me it was meant to be if I were raped or beaten? Would they say that slavery or human trafficking was part of the great plan? In a book called Everything Happens for a Reason and Other Lies I Love, the author Kate Bowler describes her experience with terminal cancer. Of the cliche, everything happens for a reason, she says, the only thing worse than saying this is pretending that you know the reason. I've had hundreds of people tell me the reason for my cancer. Because of my sin, because of my unfaithfulness, because God is there, because God is unfair, because of my aversion to Brussels sprouts. She has a great sense of humor. And she continues, no one is short of reasons. So if people tell you this, make sure that you are there when they go through the cruelest moments of their life. And start offering your own. When someone is drowning, the only thing worse than failing to throw them a life preserver is handing them a reason. I actually think that people who offer the everything happens for a reason lines do it not to make the ones suffering the disappointment feel better, but to make themselves feel better. It's hard to be with someone in their pain. We want to make it better. Well, people couldn't make it better for me by getting me the houses I lost offers on, so they offered me a promise of something better to come. That way, they figured they could take me out of my sorrow that they found uncomfortable to be with. They assumed I bought into the notion, and once reminded of it, my outlook would turn bright again. Oh yes, of course, that great plan. Right, there is something better coming for me. Thank you for reminding me of that. Well, that's not how I believe. So I once responded to someone by saying, that's not my theology. And it didn't go over well. But really, the kindest thing we can say to someone who is suffering, whether the minor setback of a house offer decline or a major upset like a cancer diagnosis, is just simply, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear this news. To honor their feelings without wishing them away. To be with the loved one or friend in their sorrow without even needing to say anything. When reflecting on the plans she had for her life that she must now let go of, Kate Bowler, the one with cancer, says, plans are made. Plans come apart. New delights or tragedies pop up in their place. And nothing, human or divine, will map out this life. This life that has been more painful than I could have imagined. More beautiful than I could have imagined. May we live in the mystery of chance, with all its pain and its beauty, without needing to explain it, without needing to make sense of it. May we simply experience it, life, with all its twists and turns, doing the best we can at each moment. May we offer each other condolences on the sorrows and gladness for the joys, without seeking reasons for the hard parts. Because maybe, just maybe, everything doesn't happen for a reason. And maybe that's just fine. So let's sing once more. The Fire of Commitment, number 1020, the Teal Club. Please rise in body, word, and spirit.